Welcome to Dry Arabia! And today spawning in the northwest corner of the map in yellow, we've got Lucifron 7 playing as the Malians, and his opponent today in the southeast, playing in purple. We've got loueMT as the Ottomans. Welcome everyone to this Age of Empires 4 casted game, and wait a minute, look at that monument, very nice there for loueMT. Rocking the Sea Dragon. It's not often you see that. Well, anyway, as we digress, we're going to be opening up with a military school for the Ottomans, giving them 3 units. Now, going against the Malians, this is certainly an interesting matchup. 2 civilizations, which are kind of the newer civilizations in Age of Empires 4. Part of the newest DLC. Speaking of DLCs, by the way, guys. A new DLC is coming to Age of Empires 4 very soon. The Byzantines, the Japanese, 2 new civilizations. And an additional 4 variant civilizations. 1 for the Abbasid dynasty, 1 for the Chinese, 1 for the Holy Roman Empire, 1 for the French. That's going to give us so much more content. I just want to say a big thank you for everyone supporting the channel at the moment. It's been a hell of a journey, and well, I'm going to be bringing plenty of more Age of Empires 4 casted games to you guys, especially when the new DLC hits. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, and well, if you enjoy the casted content, make sure you get the notification bell ticked, because, well, you want to be notified, right, when I post a video, most likely. Anyway, either way, going to go against the Malians here, loueMT, with the Ottomans, and I think the theme for today's game is going to be about threats. Threats of your opponent, threats of your enemy, threats of your enemy civilization. And the threat that Malians face at the moment is the military school. 3 units coming out, and they also do feel the threat of a cheaper barracks. Now, cheaper barracks for the Ottomans, very strong. It's not something that Ottomans at today's game have actually opted to do, but the threat of it does force a barracks out for the Malians. Because of course they've got this kind of exposed pit mine that, you know, enemies of the Malians tend to try and pressurize, and it's forced this 150 wood investment in the barracks, and it's also going to be queuing up a Donso most likely. It just doesn't have the food for it just yet. There it is. There's a Donso coming in, and well, it's all forced out because of the threat of the aggression coming in. And well, it means that the Ottomans should get to the feudal age a little bit quicker, most likely. We have to see how many villages they commit to building the landmarks. But another threat in this game is the Janissary. A really strong, unique unit for the Ottomans, great against cavalry, and the reason why I say this and why it's so important is because it forces the opponents to just not go for cavalry, right? Like the Malians just generally can't go for cavalry in this civilization matchup, because if they do, the Janissaries, the threat of them is so strong, is so dangerous. Having said that, you know, the Malians have some unique units of their own. They got the javelin thrower, which is great against archers, and so it makes going archers for the Ottomans a little bit difficult too. So we'll have to see who blinks first, who calls whose bluff, who decides to try and dictate the pace of the game. And well, the interesting thing is that the Ottomans are very telegraphic in terms of what they do. They kind of have to be aggressive, right? Going to go with the twin minaret madrasa, 4 villages building that. We shall see how much Lucifron commits to villages in terms of his landmark. But what could be interesting is when you think about Age of Empires 4 civilization matchups, we have to think about one civilization maybe being a bit more dominating in terms of saying, look, I'm going to do this. What are you going to do about it? So the problem that the Malians are going to face, or cause rather, is the cow boom. That threat of that cow boom is kind of scary for the opponent. And it means, well, it gives the situation for the Ottomans and loueMT saying, look, if I'm going to cow boom, then what are the Ottomans going to do? They've got a couple of options, maybe 2 options really, is that if you're facing up against greedy plays, you've got to punish it, you want to be aggressive. The Ottomans do aggression really well, so it could be an option to play a 1 town center kind of all-in play with the Ottomans, quite common to see. The other option is maybe to go for a 2nd town center and just try and keep up with the cow boom a little bit. Go for a timing push in the castle age, like early castle age, with some siege from the mangonels, with the the free siege they get from the Mehmed Imperial Armory. It's a little bit tricky because you don't want to let that cow boom get out of control. So we'll have to see how loueMT approaches this. Now it is going to be the Mansard Quarry. Now, kind of interestingly, actually Lucifron's going to get to the feudal age first. Not by much, but it's committed double the number of villages, right? He committed 8 villages to that. Many his gather speed would have been dropped as a whole for a little bit. 4 villages worth of gathering time was taken on building time instead. And well, the upgrades coming in for both players. It looks like Lucifron opting for double broad axe first, and loueMT opting for wheelbarrow first. Going out to stone now. It's going to be a 2nd town center play, and you don't really see this often with the Ottomans, but I think it's a good play because just having a sneak peek at the map. There's a couple of resources very exposed. The gold is a terrible position for loueMT. Gold right in the forward position. He's got gold here at the back as well, but it's just really quite far away. The gold for Lucifron is not too terrible. Like, it's not great either, but he could probably wall up to the edge of the map here. Right to the edge. and it should be pretty safe. Like, the walling situation for lucifron, certainly a little bit better, I think. But yeah, opting for a second town center does mean that lucifron does have a bit of a breathing space to get a cow boom up and running, which can be super, super dangerous in the castle age. We'll have to see how this one pans out. But the Ottomans have got a decent castle age behind this as well, I think, timing-wise. And the reason why I say that is because, again, it's about the threat of the civilization, right? The Ottomans getting free units, it forces lucifron to commit to building units. Like, he can't go naked fast castle. He's gonna have to train some units, and he's gonna have to pay for them. The Ottomans, on the other hand, don't have to pay for anything technically in terms of, well, if they use the military school, that is. The question is whether loueMT wants to commit to production buildings. He's collecting a lot of wood, but that's going to be obviously for the second town center. The question is, you know, does he get some production buildings, or does he go straight for the castle age? We'll have to see what he decides to do. Now, lucifron does actually scout out that their second town center will be coming in. He just spots the stone there, rather, of course. And, well, that gives lucifron a decision to make. What does he opt to do? Does he go for a second town center himself? Does he go for the cow boom? I think the cow boom makes the most sense. And we'll probably look to see if he's dropping a mill. He's already got one. Maybe a second mill for like a double cow boom could be important to spot if we get that out. Oh, holy moly. 3 wolves there. Going to be poking and prodding at that Donso. Donso will be well equipped to deal with it, but he's going to lose a bit of HP there unnecessarily. Well, not unnecessarily, but there's nothing you can do about it now. Unfortunate for that guy. Oh, he's going to be looking to deny that town center. Now, there are 2 spearmen there for loueMT. He loses one. They're going to lose a second very quickly because lucifron has 3 Donsos. The trouble is, oh, he doesn't have textiles. loueMT is going to back off. He's going to try and get the town center up. He's actually microed this really well. Pulled away the weak villagers. Got a Sipahi, but the Sipahi can't really do that much, you know, against Donsos, really. But, you know, villagers are scrambling around, gets the town center up and running. No villagers lost. That's the crucial bit of detail. loueMT with great micro, and is going to pick away 2 Donsos. That's huge. Maybe, no, it doesn't get the 3rd, but it takes a lot of HP off that guy. But nice work there by loueMT. Straight onto the gold. A lot of villagers on gold. And that signifies it's going to be a castle age behind this, most likely for loueMT. Plenty of sheep there to take. So go for, well, I don't know, actually. Maybe not straight castle age. He's going to go for an archer range and a stable. So it's going to produce a bit more in terms of units. There's a second pit mine for lucifron getting that gold for free. Is he going to go for 3 mills? Isn't that a bit, like, greedy? Holy moly. Okay, well, maybe he's going for 3 mills. Oh, he deletes it in the end. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I mean, because you want to produce cows from both, really. That's what he does now. And he's going to start off with the cow boom cattle ranch being built. So loueMT is going to be facing up against a cattle boom. But he does have 2 town centers, so he's going to get that second town center really quickly. He's got it already, obviously. And his villager lead will start to climb. He's got 32 already, 2 in advantage, but no real numbers of units on the field. In fact, lucifron's actually got more units. And, well, interesting opening for both players. But it's not often you see 2 town centers for the Ottomans. And so I think this situation now is that both players are probably going to opt for that castle age. It certainly looks that way from lucifron's perspective. Look at the food and gold he's bringing in. And then it becomes an issue of, well, who gets the relics first? Because the relics are pretty evenly spread. That's clearly on the lucifron side. There's one on the north, pretty much in the middle. One in the middle, very much in the middle. One in the south, very much in the middle. And obviously this one on the east is going to belong to loueMT. Or should do anyway. But with eco upgrades coming in, nicely done by loueMT, getting forestry and double broad axe has already come in. And so everyone really maximizing in the feudal age eco upgrades, going over to gold now, lucifron. Yeah, certainly signifying the castle age. But they are prepping things. He's getting the archer range and a barracks. And so we talked about threats, right? That's the theme for this particular casted game. And the threat of janissaries, you can already see. Maybe lucifron's already feeling it. You know, he's going to go for the archer range and the barracks. Pretty much infantry units in terms of javelin throwers. Donsos, probably the most likely unit choices. Now the thing is that the Ottomans, that because they've got the janissary that forces this, there's something that really nice about the Ottomans, and it's that castle age landmark, the Mehmed Imperial Armory. Now if you're against infantry, mass infantry, the thing you love to get is mangonels, and well, the mangonels are going to come up for free for the Ottomans. And so what that forces lucifron into is a siege workshop immediately in the castle age. He's going to have to get one because he's going to need springholds. You can't really, I mean, yeah, again, like, how else do you get rid of the mangonels? Like, you could possibly go for Sofa, but the moment you do that, if there's a tech switch to janissaries from the Ottomans, you know, that's going to be painful. So I think this is why I quite like this civilization matchup, the malians and the Ottomans, is, you know, both civilizations have unique units. And so I think, you know, a nice composition of, say, crossbowmen and maybe Sipahi could be quite nice for the Ottomans, but the trouble is Donsos are pretty strong as well, so we'll have to see what the Ottomans kind of go for. I think cavalry is quite strong for the Ottomans. You know, they want to have that mobility, and it's going to be the Grand Fulani Coral for the Malians, increasing the amount of food coming in from the cows, 20 food per minute per cattle. And well, that food income is going to really skyrocket. In fact, he's actually got 0 villagers on food at the moment, lucifron, which is kind of crazy, because you can just survive off the cattle boom. It's going to be the Mehmed Imperial Armory. No real surprises there for the Ottomans. It's very rare that we see the other landmark. 8 villagers for the Mehmed Imperial Armory and 7 for the Grand Fulani Coral. I think obviously on the basis of this, it does maybe seem like the Ottomans will get there first. It's got the blacksmith, increasing the production speed of the production buildings. 20% in the feudal age, 30% in the castle age, 40% in the imperial age. It's a really nice bonus that the Ottomans get. As you can see, the bonuses for the Ottomans really is about military. But now with the free siege engines, going to be quite nice for loueMT, I suspect. And, well, okay, he's really rushing it down now with 16 villagers here, lucifron. He wants to get to that castle age fast. And when both players get to that castle age, I suspect the next focus will be the relics. Quite commonly done. When you age up to the castle age, you want to get those relics, and look at that. The mosque instantly being dropped for lucifron. Okay, using 9 villagers. Okay, he really wants those relics, this guy. Understandable. It can hold the key in many ways for matchups like this. You can see the army already camped out there for loueMT just to make sure the relics are being contested. It's going to get the veterancy for the Sipahi. The first meta arrives, going out with the imams as well. And is that because he's got the mosque? I think he just used the vizier point actually. Yeah, he would have got 2 imams out, one heading to the neutral ones, or the middle ones. Oh, he's going to contest that though. lucifron's got 2 Donsos there ready and waiting. Should be able to get this one in the middle, potentially, we shall see. lucifron's going to be alerted to this. He's going to try and grab it. Oh, he's going to back off. He's got to back off, really. Can't really afford to take that. He's got the one in the middle. Going to send the army southwards, though. Really going to contest that. Well, lucifron's going to send his units now. The javelin throwers and the Donsos. Now, in many ways, the infantry, full infantry army is a little bit problematic for many civilizations. But for the Malians, it's not as bad, because their Donsos can actually throw their spears. It's actually really, really strong. You know, cavalry that are kind of riding it, umming and erring, they ride in, ride out. They can actually be sniped by the you know, the throwing of the spear. It's actually really strong as a unit, the Donso. It does cost a little bit more extra compared to a normal spearman, but it does often get a lot more value. Gonna have to hide in the stealth forest, but will he be able to get out of here? I don't think so. Javelin throws almost snipe it. But we just see that Sipahi die, right? Because of the Donsos chucking their spears. And well, I don't think the Imam's going to get out of there. He's going to try and make it out as much as he can, but unfortunately he won't be able to. Palisade walls have been built for loueMT, so it's going to be nice and protected. And the town centre, I think, is a really nice spot to put in, obviously protecting that gold. And the other thing is the wood line, right? This is super exposed for loueMT. Could be a problem if lucifron decides to dive that, because he's got the military numbers that he wants. 37 to 18. loueMT got the villager count, but don't let that sway you, because the Grand Fulani Coral and the cow boom for the Malians, whilst it doesn't take population space, these guys are working, they're working hard. As you can see, the food income per minute, 1,000. Oh my god, look at that, guys. 1,500 food per minute. He's actually got less villagers on food than loueMT, and is bringing almost double amount of food. Just let that sink in for a second. It's kind of crazy. 1 relic apiece have been deposited, but both are challenging for their second apiece. And Outpost giving some good vision, but that will go down. And you see some javelin throwers maybe looking to... Ooh, good cavalry push in there. Snipes a villager. First blood, actually. Believe it or not. First villager goes down on the 14th minute mark, but the wood line's super exposed. Villager's going to have to back away from that. There's no army. Oh, Mangonel. Oh, decent shot. Pushes that away now. The Mangonel came out at the perfect time. Oh, but the 2 cavalry are going to ride in. The 2 lancers, but they're going to be... Oh, well, one has lost his life, I'm afraid. And now, with the threat of the Mangonel, and this is so key, actually. This one unit is buying loueMT so much time, right? He's so far behind in military numbers. But because he has this, it's not something that lucifron wants to fight right now. And he's going to have to commit into siege engines, right? Yeah, there we are. There's the siege workshop. Going to have to get a spring all or 2. And he can't really fight until he gets that. This buys crucial time for loueMT. Getting the palisade walls up on the northeast part of his base as well. And he's got 2 relics with the Ottomans, which is really, really strong. Because obviously you don't want to be lagging too far on the relic count. It looks like lucifron will get his 3rd. And not too terrible. Here comes the Mangonel. Look at that, just a single unit being... I don't know if that's a bad rally point from lucifron or just using it as scouting information. Probably the latter. I would like to see lucifron go out to this gold here, get a pit mine just to increase the passive gold generation. There's cavalry just checking on the other gold veins just to see what might be there. Sacred Site activated for lucifron. Mangonel gets another kill. And well, there's the siege workshop. Going to be getting some springles. Lots of villagers on gold, of course. Lots of food coming in. Lucifron's got so much food that he doesn't possibly know what to do with it. He's going to need to spend it somehow. But loueMT's starting to catch up on units now. He's actually got four military schools. Yep, looking good. Looks like he spent a vizier point on the military school, I think, maybe. But that's going to be producing crossbowmen and man-at-arms. Not bad at all. I think I like this actually. I think man-at-arms and ranged units for loueMT could work really well because the malians don't actually get heavy units, and so he might need to get Musafadi warriors for the man-at-arms. But if he does that, then the mangonels and the archers will absolutely wreck them from the Ottomans. And the Ottomans always seem to do well with wood-based units. I'm not entirely sure why, but they do like massing up archers quite nicely. And with the attack speed bonus from the meta, 15%, they can dish out a lot of damage. Here comes another mangonel joining the party. But I think loueMT will do well to get a couple of springles because, I mean, he's going to know, right? Like, lucifron will be getting springles at this point. He's already got 2, and he's going to push in with a lot of Donso and javelin throwers. Look at the military numbers, 74 to 51. That's actually kind of insane here for lucifron. He's got to be careful though, the Mangonel. Oh, he almost threatened to fire off. He didn't in the end. Villagers on the deer pack kind of exposed. The Sabahi go down to the Donso throwing their spears. I'm afraid the villagers do retreat through the gate. He backs off for now, and well, the Donsos are going to look to take out that outpost and that static defenses. But look at this, riding in, killing some villagers underneath the town centre. Are the Ottoman cavalry going to dive into Donsos there? That's not where they want to be. They've got to get out of there, and he does. But lucifron committing to a lot of barracks. Mangonels always being pushed back by the Springald. One Springald comes out for the Ottomans. He does get sniped though, which is unfortunate. It does take a little bit of HP on that Springald though for the Malians. 2 Mangonels getting huge shots there. Holy moly. That's a nice shot. The 2 Springalds trying to chase the Mangonels down. Not quite getting there. Fighting underneath the town centre. I think this is an issue. Springald coming in the north almost. I think if the Springalds go down, then those Mangonels might turn and fire again. There's a good fight here for the Malians. I think Springalds just going a bit too far forward. And the Springalds engaging. All the Ottomans loses 1, but the 2 Springalds have now gone. That's a decent trade actually overall there for the Ottomans. It's 2 Springalds apiece that have been taken apart. And well, now the Mangonel is going to push this back. loueMT is going to push this back. lucifron can push no longer. loueMT does have a group of cavalry in the north. And I like this. I really like this for loueMT because the reason why is because whilst he's not getting all that much value, he's pulling a little bit of war investment, a little bit of unit investment away from the main fight, which is down here right now. The meta increasing the attack speed of these units. The Mangonels, the threat to the Mangonels. lucifron has to back off for now. But yeah, the value of these guys doesn't come in terms of killing units. It comes in pushing the army back. Look, there's a lot of units here that could have been fighting. 66 military to 42, and well, loueMT has got 2 Mangonels. And on the back of this, he sniped a Springald there, which is very, very nice. Oh, wait a minute. Holy moly, a lot of stables coming out. He's going to get imported armor as well. Increasing the armor of Suffer by +2. loueMT, he'll do well to scout that out. We talked about how really the enemies of Ottomans kind of struggle going for cavalry. Well, lucifron is opting for cavalry. The question is, will this be scouted by loueMT? He's got to scout it. He's got to find this out. He does have cavalry that could do just that. The question is whether he will do it or not, because it will need to change his army composition, right? He could easily counter the cavalry coming in just by a couple of janissaries. I mean, he's really committing to this, guys. lucifron is going for 5 stables. 6. He's going for 6 stables. Holy smokes. Okay, he's really going to go for the Soffer, but it's just so hard because if loueMT... I feel like this game now comes down to the fact, well, loueMT has to scout. If he doesn't, that's the mistake and that will lose him the game. But if he scouts it, then lucifron is... Like, he's built a lot of infrastructure for cavalry. But if he uses it and he goes against janissaries, that's a big problem. Okay, well, you know, loueMT spots this now, right? He sees all of it. He sees all the stables. He's going to back off now, and let's just take a look at what he's producing back at home. His archery rangers. Take a look at that. What does he do? He queues up a lot of Janissaries. He unqueues everything else, goes straight for Janissaries. And this is why we love Age of Empires 4. This is why we love strategy games. This is why we love reading the strategy involved. And, well, Lucifron are going to try and push in with 86 military. You don't blame him. I mean, he's got a lot of numbers. But the 3 mangonels could dish out a lot of damage. How many Springles has Lucifron got? He's got 4 Springles. That could be key. I think we're going to see a fight very soon. That could hold the key to this fight and this match. It's going to come down to micro. And I think it's going to come down to siege micro. Like, how well does Lucifron do with the 4 Springles? How well does loueMT deal with those Springles? He's only got 2 Springles of his own. Gonna fight in between the woodlines. The mangonels about to fire. 4 Springles edging towards it. loueMT sees those Springles. That's to keep it a detail. He's got to be careful with those mangonels not to lose them. The cavalry from the Sofa do try and dive in. I'm not sure how many Janissaries there are. Not that many. 9 of them, but they'll do a decent amount. But if they're focus fired by Lucifron, that'll become a problem. He loses 1 meta. Gets another 1 meta coming at the right time. Mangonel goes down. That's a problem. loueMT needs to keep the mangonels alive. He needs that threat. The Janissary is firing off the cavalry on the front line. The cavalry absolutely melting. Oh, the cavalry trying to get on the mangonels. They're going the long way around, getting sniped left, right, and center. A couple of Sipahi in the north getting the Springles, and 2 Springles there from the Ottomans, sniping 2 Springles. Oh no, Lucifron. He mismicroed those Springles. He lost 4 Springles and didn't take any of Ottomans' ones. And now he's going to repair those mangonels on the back line. And this is a fight that actually, well, Lucifron will win in terms of units, but he's not going to win the actual main fight if the mangonels get involved. The trouble is those mangonels went far away and they did back off quite a long way. But without any more Springles for Lucifron, he won't win that fight and he has to back away. And it all came down to that siege micro in the end. The 4 Springles were not enough for the Malians. And how many Janissaries does he have still left here? That's the key question for the Ottomans. 6. And there's a lot of Sofa, but you just can't engage with the number of Janissaries here. Mangonels, mangonels, mangonels. Doesn't get all that many hits that he would have wanted. Sipahi chasing that away a little bit. Gonna back off now. Springle placement in the outpost, dishing out some damage as well, which is kind of nice. 2 more Springles coming out for Lucifron. Getting an outpost as well, just to get some extra vision. Villagers on deer might have to back away from that. Well, 50 military to 46. loueMT is actually looking in a really strong position. Took a great fight overall. He's got defender's advantage, of course. 110 economy versus 69. I mean, it's probably equal in terms of overall. Oh, loses a Springald. Oh god, Lucifron's going to lose a Springald. I think there were 3 Springals there for loueMT. Takes the fight underneath the outpost. That's not really what Lucifron wants to do. Mangonels, mangonels, mangonels. He does back off now, but now steadily. Lucifron building up in numbers. Look at the Janissary numbers. 16. He's really committing. Lucifron has had his tactics completely scouted by loueMT. Great work by loueMT to spot that. And he's still got 3 mangonels and a Springald. No more Springals on the field for Lucifron. Actually, I'll take that back. Just the 1. Just the 1. He's going to look to take that on that Toll outpost. Now, the thing for Lucifron, whilst he does have a great economy in terms of cow booming, he's facing up a 2 town center Ottomans, right? 114 villagers. That's pretty extensive. As we head into almost the 24th minute of the game, I think, to be honest, Lucifron is under pressure. Like, he's still producing the Sofa, and it's just not the right way to do this, because those Janissaries will rip through that, and loueMT feels that. He's got the buffing from the 2 meta. I think it's just 1 meta there. Take the fight. Mangonels, mangonels, mangonels. They're engaging. It's a big fight. The cavalry are going to be absolutely melting through the Janissaries. Mangonels on the back line. Focusing on the Donzos. The Donzos can't get close to the cavalry. He does lose a mangonel, but the Springles have been taken apart. Lucifron losing everything. All the cavalry shredded by the Janissary. And loueMT takes the game on Dry Arabia. It is the power of the Janissary. The Ottomans absolutely demolishing the Sofa. Hope you guys enjoyed the casted game. Take care and see you next time.